Hey, back with John Horford to talk Michigan Louisville basketball.
Yeah.
So tough 8-point swing to end the half. Like, what do you think the players are thinking going into the locker room?
I think the coach is telling them that there can't be any letdown going into halftime. It's really common for people to think like, oh, there's only so much time left, like we're good, instead of having a sense of urgency and being like, all right, we really need to finish out this half strong. Limit the mistakes. But I mean, they hit some tough shots, and
Right.
sometimes that's just the way the game goes, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and one of as a casual fan, like one of the frustrations I have with JB is like he auto benches people after two fouls, and
Yeah.
like after Walton, sat down, like the pace of the game and like the maturity on like the floor like changed. Like, is that like something that comes up in the locker room? Like, do the players just know that this is going to happen?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, that's pretty standard, especially with Coach Beeline, and most coaches actually. When you only have 5 fouls to give, to get in that third and the first, it's too risky. I mean, you could come out in the second, get a foul in the first minute, have 4, and they can't play you until the end of the half, second half. So it's just something you have to do. It's just playing your cards, and it's just 90% of the time it's not worth the risk.
Got it. And I mean, I know that we played them pretty tough in the first half, except for the last maybe 2 minutes. But I mean, because the scoring is actually quite low, do you kind of feel that this is actually to Louisville's advantage? Because I would assume that we would want to be closer to 40, maybe 50 points if possible.
We would, but it's also a good thing that we've held Louisville to, what do they have, 36?
Mm-hmm.
Just because we can score in bunches, the three's not really falling for us right now. I mean, we're shooting less than 30%. And if we can get hot in the second half, if we can keep the game low scoring, if we could hold them to 36 again,
Right.
I think we could win the game, just because of our ability to score. I felt like they might have slowed us down a little bit.
Right.
But I don't expect that to continue to happen. Derek's probably going to, step it up. Zach's going to get it going. The bigs are playing really well.
Yeah.
About Derek and Zach, I think you were on the team when like they were like coming in for like recruiting visits. Like, do you remember anything like from them? Like,
I just remember Derek just because we played for the same AAU team, and we weren't on the same team, but we both played for the Michigan Mustangs. So, and I'm really close with the founder and the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so he used to talk about Derek all the time. He loved him. He was always, Derek Walton's a winner. He plays the right way. Like, he didn't necessarily, score a ton of points, but he got everybody involved. He played defense. He did all the things that you need to do to win,
Got it. That's awesome. And then what do you think of how DJ and Wagner playing like right now? It seems like they're, really taking it to the big guys to Louisville.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Anytime confidence is so important. When you're playing in games like this, especially in a tournament, such a big stage, and the way they're playing, very confident, very aggressive. Like those fouls that they got earlier in the game, like trying to rebound, like boxing guys out hard. Like as a coach, I mean, I would love to see those, and even as a player on the same team as them,
right?
Or as a former player watching, I love seeing stuff like that. Just being aggressive. Like you can't necessarily be mad at fouls like that. They're trying to set a tone. They're trying to let these guys know, like, you're not going to bully us, even though, they do have a pretty decent advantage on the offensive glass right now. But their physicality, I think, kept it from being worse than it could have been. So it's something that I definitely like to see. And offensively, just being as aggressive as they are, shooting the shots with confidence, whether they fall or not, driving hard and creating contact. It's as a coach, it's stuff that you really love to see.
Yeah, and like with Louisville's like propensity like auto switch, is that like giving the bigs like much more like propensity to like actually like go down and like score easy buckets? Is that something that like the whole team knows and like tries to take advantage of?
As of right now, it definitely is, and I mean, you could see it a couple of times. Like the one guard tried to take a charge, he didn't get it, and then the other guard just got basically shoot out of the way, for an easy layup. I can almost guarantee that Pitino's going to be on the refs at halftime saying, hey, when they switch and these bigs are running over my guards, like, you better call the charge. So, I mean, I would think that he would be on them about that. And we would see them calling, charges or offensive fouls for that kind of aggressive play more in the second half. But I mean, I think that they should keep doing it regardless, being aggressive like that, attacking the rim.
That's a really good, interesting point. Do you think during the halftimes, when coaches like with reputation like Pitino and kind of that legacy, when he goes to the reps and kind of talks about or complains about certain issues, do you feel like the reps actually take note and it's like, and kind of
absolutely,
absolutely.
Yeah, the refs, they're human, I mean, they realize. I mean, both these coaches are legends.
Yeah.
So when they're in their ear, like, hey, like, and Pitino's the kind of guy, he's gonna butter up the refs, like, hey, I know you, like, you're a great ref. You always do a really good job. Like, you don't normally miss calls like that. But I know you're gonna get it in the second half. Like, I know you're gonna make the right call, because you learn and you've always been a great ref. Like, he's gonna do something like that, kind of like what Coach B said about Pitino's comment towards Michigan, how, oh yeah, they're so good, they're like the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Coach B is completely right. He's saying that because he's trying to get him to soften up, and then they're going to come out and try to punch him in the face. So Coach B, yeah, he would never fall for that.
That's funny.
Would you make what adjustments would you make in the second half right now then, if you were in the locker room? Like, what would you tell the guys?
I would tell them that we have to keep being aggressive offensively, defensively. We have to play the same way. We have to keep helping each other. Everybody help the helper. No easy layups. Keep them off the offensive glass. I would tell the bigs, you don't necessarily have to get the rebound, but don't let your guy get the rebound, right? So let the guards come in, get some of those rebounds, and if we can hold them under, if they could find a way, maybe not obviously 36 again, that would put them over 70. But if we can hold them under 70, I think if they hold them under 70, they can get the win, right? So that was one of our big things. LaVal Jordan always used to say it, like, if we can hold the team under 70, we'll most likely get the win.
Nice. Right. And who are the voices like heard in the locker room? Is it like just Beeline? Is it the assistant coaches? Is it like the senior leaders? Like, or is it just like a mixture of like everybody?
It's a pretty good mixture. We would give, our 2 cents. All the coaches would talk, and everybody we would just try to come up. If we saw anything, we'd say something, and then from there, they just, formulate whatever the best game plan is going forward. But obviously, offensive glass is big. I mean, they're taking care of the ball, only 2 turnovers. But I mean, we're known for our offense. We got to get the offense going, and but that doesn't mean we can slack on defense at all. And little missteps, like, at the end of the first, when it's basically tied and then they pull away, in less than a minute, whatever. Avoid stretches like that, and we'll be good to go. But the confidence is key right now. Confidence, aggression, trusting each other, playing together.
And maybe the last I have. The paint Michigan team last week.
Apologies, you're breaking up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, that's good.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Was there an investment in the 2014 that kind of bought the closer? It could be a curricular event or something like that. How did you guys value this?
I think what brought us together, honestly, was not winning the Big Ten championship that year. Because a lot of people always forget that we didn't win. We technically didn't win any championships that year. We had 2 Big Ten championships. While I was there, like, we had won 2 Big Ten championships, but people always forget that the 2013 team, we never won the Big Ten. And I think that having such a good team that, we really thought that we didn't play as well as we could have. And I feel like that gave us some momentum going into the tournament, you know, just a little chip on our shoulders.
Interesting. And looking back, you think that you were actually like 4 or 5 people that were fierce minutes in the league, or was that something that's just like?
Oh, I mean, we definitely thought about things like that, but at the time, you're just playing basketball with your friends and you're just enjoying everything, and it's not necessarily like, oh man, I can't believe that, you know, you might be doing this or that or whatever. It's just, you know, like, let's just enjoy this experience and make these memories and have fun.
All right. Well, yeah.
Thank you very much again for your time.
Yep. No problem. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Let's hopefully pull it off in the second half.
I'm predicting a Michigan win.